Good evening, blessings, and greetings, everybody. Thank you for joining another live audio on my Aisha Speaks Jade page. And this discussion is just a continued conversation from the live audio I gave just a few minutes ago, talking about how you should do live video streaming on different social media outlets. So what I'm going to talk about today is 10 social media branding strategies every business should follow. And so again, thank you for joining my Aisha Speaks Jade live audio for Wednesday, or today is not Wednesday, excuse me, Thursday, August the 2nd, 2018. Social media can be used for a variety of purposes, whether it's social selling, content marketing, or customer support. Social media gives you the perfect opportunity to reach your target audience and build your brand. However, with so many different platforms available and heavy competition on all of them, it can be difficult to set your brand apart and carve out your place on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, etc. Is your brand being represented the way you want it on social media? Let me ask that question again. Think about it. Is your brand being represented the way you want it to on social media? If the answer is no, follow these 10 social media branding strategies to amplify your results. 1. Choose the right networks. If you're not gaining any traction on some of the social media platforms you're active on, it may not entirely be your fault. With hundreds of social media apps out there and new ones popping up every day, it's tempting to jump into all of them. You ever had that experience, guys? Just jumping into so many social media apps. And have they all worked for you? Or just a few or none? However, every social network might not be the right fit for your company. And that's absolutely right. You have to find that niche for your business or your brand. Your job to find the networks that align with your brand's image and goals. Otherwise, you'll struggle to make progress. And I believe that's very true. For instance, if your company, and this is a scenario, if your company is a steel manufacturer, then Tumblr probably isn't the best option for you. Have you guys heard of Tumblr? That's another social media outlet out there. Tumblr's primary demographic is teens and people in their early 20s. A better option would be LinkedIn, since it's a business to business, which is B2B, business to business network that attracts business owners. And if you guys haven't found out about LinkedIn, do some research on that. If you're struggling to find out which social network your target audience is most active on, take a look at these social media demographics to get the perfect starting point. So perhaps maybe you want to Google or check out social media demographics just to see where your brand or service may best fit. 2. Don't overlook visual branding. Visuals play an important part in social media branding. If each of your profiles looks like they're owned by a different company, it creates a disconnect for your users. You want your branding to be consistent across all channels. This will help people immediately recognize your company no matter which site or app they're using. One brand that does this very well, which we all know this company, is Coca-Cola. When you look at the company's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram profiles, you'll notice the consistency in color and design. So they don't go off left. They always keep it straight, the same consistency. And that plays a big part. So there's some tips to take away from Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's use of visual branding on social media. So choose a color palette. Okay. Coca-Cola, as we know, uses its classic red and white color scheme across social media channels. It doesn't just stop at the logo. If you look at the posts the company shares, you'll rarely find visuals that don't include the color red. The easiest way to develop your color palette is to take a look at your logo. You want to get to a point where people associate those colors with your brand. Keep in mind that different colors can impact the way people perceive your brand. Use the same logo/avatar. You should try to use the same avatar for every social network. To keep things simple and consistent, use your logo or a symbol that represents your company. People should see your avatar and immediately associate it with your brand. Scenario: think about Nike, swoosh, or the golden arches of McDonald's. Makes sense. As soon as you see them, you immediately think of their brands. Filter carefully. Whenever you share images on Instagram or other visual channels, keep your filters consistent, whether that means using no filters at all or Mayfair. Choose one or two and stick to it. Using a different filter for every image you make, or using a different filter for every image you share, makes your post look unorganized and inconsistent. And Instagram has a cool Instagram hack to help you out. So you might want to Google that. You can reorder and prioritize your Instagram filters based on the ones you use the most. Create a template. If you have a team handling your social media marketing efforts, it can be helpful to create templates for any graphics you share on social media. Or I'm sure you probably can do it yourself too. Just take your time. That way, your fonts, colors, and designs will always be consistent, which is key. Be consistent. You can do this through Photoshop, or you can use a free tool like Canva. You can check out and you can Google yourself articles on how to create a social media style guide for more tips to keep your brand, again, consistent across all your social channels. So Google, research how to create a social media style guide. You can do Photoshop, or again, you can use a free tool like Canva, Canva. 3, develop your voice. Your brand's personality should be reflected in your social media posts. That means developing a social media voice. Research that. Research how to develop a social media voice. This is the way your brand communicates in tweets, Facebook posts, and snaps. Finding your voice can take some time, but you'll settle into it eventually. To find your social media voice, consider these 3 main elements. Your company culture. What is the culture like at your company? Your culture is what you stand for, what your company is about, and what makes you special. Here's a scenario. Under Armour's culture is all about performing to the highest level and being innovative. The use of hashtags like #IWill in social media posts shows that the company's social media voice is a direct reflection of its culture. So, guys, I had to learn myself that those hashtags are key. Using the right hashtag draws people to you. It's okay to check out other people's hashtags. You don't have to steal everything. You can be creative and kind of put a twist on yours, but make sure that that twist still draws people into who you are or your business. Your audience. Speaking in a way that your audience connects with you is very important. That could include using certain lingo and references that are popular in your target market. Here's a scenario. Taco Bell is constantly in tune with what's popular with its audience, which is normally a younger demographic, and crafts its social media posts to fit that voice. Authenticity. Whatever your social media voice develops into, make sure it's authentic to your brand. Trying to sound a certain way just to fit in can backfire. According to one of the recent surveys, honesty is the number one trait consumers want from brands on social. And that's very true. If you cannot be not only honest with yourself, then there's no way that you can project being honest with somebody else. Like, you don't just be out there just to fit in. Be genuine and sincere. That attracts a lot of consumers. 4, be consistent with your topics. Sites like Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn are very good for content curation. Again, that's called content curation. Curation. Curating is a great way to help you build authority in your industry, as well as provide a steady flow of social media posts that aren't self-promotional. Finding blog posts, videos, and other content to share with your audience sounds simple enough. However, many businesses go into it blindly without creating a strategy or guidelines for what topics to share. As a result, your Twitter timeline can become filled with a random mix of tweets about 5 or 6 completely different topics. Avoid that mistake by streamlining your efforts. Pick a few topics that are closely related to your industry. For instance, the popular career site Monster.com tweets articles about employee satisfaction, career advice, and workplace culture. All of these are directly related to its brand. If Monster started adding tweets about investing and personal finance, it would seem out of place. But by focusing on its main areas of expertise, Monster's brand has become a go-to account for people's interests in career-related content on Twitter. So go check out Twitter, and you can find Monster.com on Twitter, just @Monster, and you can find them. Also, with WeWork, you can find them on Twitter @WeWork. And I'm just trying to see, you can find Taco Bell on Twitter as well. And it's just Taco Bell, at Taco Bell. Interested in Under Armour? You can find them on Twitter, at Under Armour. So, my apologies. Okay, 5. Post regularly. Nothing will kill social media branding efforts more than irregular posting. If you only tweet once every few days or you upload one new Instagram picture a month, you're going to be forgotten. Very quickly, you will. People always want to see things on your post, so you have to post as regularly as possible. Shortened attention spans combined with rapidly growing social networks have made publishing more important than ever. How frequently you post is going to depend on your audience. It will take some trial and error to find out what works best for your brand. One of the best ways to determine how often you should post is to use Sprout Social's social media publishing and analytic tools. So again, to determine how often you should post, you can use Sprout Social's social media publishing and analytics tools. The publishing tools will allow you to schedule your posts to be sent out when your followers are most active. That's a great tool. The analytic tools let you gauge which posts are gaining the most engagement. You might find that your tweets get more engagement on the day that you post 10 times as opposed to 5. Always track and review your social media efforts. 6. Connect with influencers. When companies like Nike and Starbucks post a new image on Instagram, they get a lot of engagement. Why, you ask? That's because they're both established brands with millions of followers. If you're just starting out or don't have a huge audience, your content won't get the same amount of attention since you're relatively unknown. A good way to achieve faster results and amplify your social media branding efforts is to build relationships with influencers. Influencer marketing allows you to piggyback off the audience that established people in your industry have already built. Since the influencer has already earned the trust and respect of their followers, getting a cosign or mention from them carries a lot of weight. And I've seen that personally firsthand, that it does. That's an interest. That's an area of interest that I have for the businesses. Let me put it that way. The businesses. Keep in mind that just having a lot of followers doesn't qualify someone as an influencer. They should also possess these traits: being authentic, being active, engaging, expertise, and leadership. Don't go into your marketing and social branding efforts alone. Start building relationships right away. 7. Don't waste your bio and profile. Far too many brands make the mistake of letting their bio or profile section go to waste on social media. When you're in the process of building your brand, letting people know who you are and what your company does is vital. Brands like Nike can have hashtag just do it in their profile because they're well established and people already know what they do. Most companies don't have that luxury. So when you're starting off, and we know you're starting small, just find those ways, do those hashtags, make sure you're branding and marketing yourself. And if you need some assistance, work on getting that, because you can't do everything alone. Don't fill your profile up with random hashtags or motivational quotes. Treat your bio like an elevator pitch. If you had to describe what your business does in 1 or 2 sentences at the most, what would you say? So I'm really curious. What would you say if you had to do that? If you had to describe what your business does, could you do it in 1 or 2 sentences at the most? And what would you say? Here are a few examples of companies that use their bio sections effectively. So we have Pinterest. Pinterest clearly describes what the network is used for and mentions some of its most popular category to give users an idea of the type of content people share on the site. Office Shoes. Office Shoes uses selling words like leading and biggest to convey that it's the best in the industry. Sprout Social. Sprout Social's profile spells out what Sprout is, who it's for, and even works as a lead generation tool by offering a free trial. Take some time to go back and look over your profiles and bios across all of your social media channels. Are you making the best use out of them for your brand? Again, are you making the best use out of them for your brand? 8, promote your profiles. One challenge that a lot of businesses have with social media branding is building initial traction. Getting your first few followers can seem impossible when you don't even know where to start. However, if you've been in business for a while or have other web properties, which could be website, blog, or other social media accounts, then you should start there. Unless you tell your current customers, colleagues, and network that you have a Snapchat or Instagram account, how will they know? Right. Never make the mistake of just assuming, which so many people can do. Assuming everyone knows about all your social media channels, even within your own company. This might seem like an obvious tip, but many businesses take a passive approach to social media branding and wait for the results to happen. It simply doesn't work that way. Promote, people. That includes myself as well. Promote your social media profiles whenever and wherever possible. Print it out on your flyers or brochures, link them from your website, and cross-promote on your other social media channels. Get the word out. Word of mouth can take you far. It could take you good or you can take you bad, but the goal is to word of mouth take you in the most positive way. A good way to promote your social efforts internally is with an employee engagement tool like Bamboo, which is Bambu. It's a product from the Sprout team. So for instance, if you just created an Instagram account and want to get some initial followers, send out a message on Bamboo to your entire company and encourage them to follow you. Or you can create a pre-written Facebook post or tweet for them to share with their own network to promote your new account. How cool is that? 9, engage, people. You know it includes me too. I'm learning from this. If The only time you post on social media is to share content. It's like having a conversation with yourself. As we alluded to earlier in the beginning stages, your brand will be unknown. You can start building awareness for your brand on social media. How? By engaging and interacting with other users. It's as simple as replying to tweets and commenting on Facebook and Instagram posts. Having interaction is very key. Some companies feel weird about replying from a company account. Don't worry. It's perfectly acceptable for companies to reply to each other on social media. Wendy's does it. Wingstop, just giving examples. Wendy's and again Wingstop and several others, they do this. The lesson from this is that you shouldn't be afraid to interact with other companies on social media or other businesses, even if they're your competitors. It'll put you on their audience radar as well as theirs. Just make sure you keep it playful and respectful, okay? And 10, claim your name. Trying to be active on 8 or 9 social media sites isn't a good idea unless you have a social media team managing it all for you. I don't know you guys' thoughts on that, but if you agree or disagree one way or another, share that in my comment box. It's better to be excellent on 2 or 3 platforms than 7 to 10. However, just because you're only going to be active on a few doesn't mean you can't set up profiles on others. By claiming your company name on major social media platforms, you're securing them in the event that you ever decide to use them. This is also beneficial for SEOs. Again, Google SEO. SEO. When people Google your company name, some of the results on the first page may be from sites like Facebook, Twitter, and other social networks. So scenario is using Spot Hero. For instance, when you search for Spot Hero, the second search result is a feed of the brand's latest tweets. If someone else has claimed the Twitter handle for your company name and is actively using it, it could confuse your audience if they Google you and another brand's Twitter account pops up. On a similar note, keep your usernames consistent. You may run into a situation where your company name is taken on a social network. When that happens, create a variation that you can use across any other social network that doesn't have your company name available. Having a different username on each platform creates inconsistency, which hurts your branding efforts. So, in conclusion, we're going to pull it all together. As social media marketers, it's easy to focus on the content you share and growing your number of followers. But take a second to think about the connection between social media and your brand first. Prioritizing social media branding will help you connect with your target audience. Be more strategic with your efforts and get better results. So that was a wealth of information I put out there. I'm learning as I'm speaking it. Again, You can never stop learning on how to brand and market and what content to put out there and making sure that you're consistent. There's all different types of tools that you can use when you're first starting off. Unless you have that finance where you can just really put it out there, but you have to still be careful with that, because you want to strategize and all of the other things I've just said to make your business successful and be put out there where people can, find you very easy. It's just all about being strategic and consistent. So thank you once again for listening. Thank you for listening to the replay. Always remember self-care. Always know that you have to believe in your business first. People can tell you a lot of different things, be it for the good or for the bad. But at the end of the day, this is your business. This is your brand. This is your product or your service. And you have to believe in what your vision and or mission is. Take care of the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Know your worth. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Hold your head up high, even through all of the challenges, difficulties, struggles that you may encounter in your personal life and business life, because it happens. It just happens in life. But it's all how you deal with it and come out of it at the end of the day. With that being said, I do invite you guys to like and join my social media outlets. Of course, I am on Facebook under Aisha Speaks Jade. I am on Instagram under Aisha Speaks Jade. I am on YouTube, Aisha Speaks Jade. And I am on Twitter, Aisha Speaks Jade. As far as LinkedIn, I am not sure yet, but when I do find out, I will definitely come back and let you guys know. With that being said, I am so humble and appreciative for everyone that listens to my voice and the content that I give to you. If you're interested in being a guest on my Facebook, Aisha Speaks Jade, where you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a coach, a financial advisor, someone who has great positive feedback to share and give to us, then please leave a comment in my Aisha Speaks Jade page and I will follow back up with you. Continue to enjoy the rest of your evening. Ashe and good night.